here are a couple more examples of factoring by grouping. Okay, so again, we always go through this little checklist, right? We look and see if we can take out a GCF. Okay, in this case, not all of them have an X term. Not all of them have a factor besides one that we can take out. So we kind of, again, we did our due diligence there, so we can't take anything out. Okay, now we look and see if we can do an X chart. Okay, well, can't do an X chart here in this case because this is not a trinomial. It's a polynomial. Not going to work. Right, so now we're going to check for the factoring by grouping component. Okay, so I'll look and see at these first two terms if there's anything I can take out of these first two terms. Okay, well, they have two x's in common here, so I will take out an x squared, and I'll divide both terms by x squared here, and it looks like I'll be left off with now x, and then minus 2. Okay, so good. Now let's go ahead and look at this next part. I'll see if I can take out a greatest common factor between these two terms in the blue box. Okay, well, here's one rule. If I ever have a negative sign in front, I always have to take out that negative. Okay, it's really important that we do that. Okay, and so I'll take out that negative, and also I know that 9 is a factor of 18, so I'm actually going to take out a negative 9 here, and I'll see what I have left over. Okay, so I'll divide this by negative 9, I'll divide this by negative 9, and I know that I'll be left off with, it looks like now, x minus 2. Okay, and so again, at this point we just say, well, x plus, or x minus 2, excuse me, is a factor of the red part, and it's a factor of the blue part, so let's take out x minus 2, okay, and then let's see what's left over. Okay, so we'll divide this by x minus 2, and divide this by x minus 2, okay, and it looks like we're just left over with this x squared minus 9 part. Okay, so this is kind of what we have. Now in the last examples, we just circled this and said we're done. But we should see that this part right here, x squared minus 9, that's our difference of two squares pattern, right? If we did an x chart for this particular one, okay, we would get, well, this is, multiplies to, see, our a is 1, our b is 0, and our c is negative 9, okay? These two numbers have to multiply to negative 9, but add to 0. And we know that that's 3 and negative 3. Okay, and so what we actually get here is going to be this x minus 2 that we had originally. Then we have this x plus 3 and x minus 3. And that would actually be our final answer in this particular case. Okay, so it's a little bit more tricky here. Okay, let's look at one more example. Okay, so this part we have, again, same thing. We can go through our same process of looking for a GCF, looking to do this with an X chart, but when we fail with both of those attempts, now we have to try to factor by grouping. So we'll look at this red part here. I know that I can take out an x squared because they have two x's in common. And if I divide both of these by x squared, it looks like we'll be left off with, it looks like x plus 2. Okay, and this other part here, our blue part, I know that 36 times 2 is 72, so I can actually take out a negative 36 here. Okay, so if I take out a negative 36, I'll divide by negative 36 here, divide by negative 36 here, okay, and I'll be left off now with x, and then negative 72 over negative 36 will actually give me a positive 2 here. Okay, so at this point, I know that x plus 2 is a factor of the red part and the blue part, so I'll take it out of each. Okay, I know that now if I divide this by x plus 2 and this by x plus 2, okay, I'll now be left off with x squared minus 36. Okay, I also know that x squared minus 36 here is the difference of two squares pattern. It's going to be x plus 6 and x minus 6, but I'll just go ahead and do this anyways. So we know that our a term here is 1, our b term here is 0, and our c term is negative 36. So again, these two numbers must multiply to negative 36, add to 0, and we know those numbers are 6 and negative 6. So again, we'll write this as x plus 2 times x plus 6 times x minus 6. Okay, and that will be our final answer. Okay, I hope these extra examples are helpful. Okay, we really need to work on factoring here and realizing when we can factor it further, or if an expression has actually been factored completely.